Welcome back to the channel. In this video I will be showcasing you the unkillable Blood Knight build. With this build you don't have any counters, or at least hard counters. Like monks can counter a lot of Blood Knight builds because of the CC immunity, but with this build you don't have to worry about the Shield of Zen, because you can take the Shield of Zen down while you are immune by yourself. And the same goes to necromancers. You can even get some kills while you are immune and while people can't do anything on you. But remember, if you misplay, you can still die with this build, but with proper cooldown management and proper positioning, you can be almost unkillable with this build. So what do we need to successfully play with this build? We will go over the skills first. We are using Shadow's Edge. This doesn't really matter, you can use Ravage too, but I'm personally using Shadow's Edge because we can wave through one of these if we are going to use our CCs. Now we are using Sanguinite. This is our one immunity skill, and this is one of the best immunity skills we have as a Blood Knight. It gives you 2.5 seconds immunity with 50% movement speed, and you can dash afterwards. We do not use any essences with this, but this is our getaway free card. We use this usually when we want to get out of the fight, or if we really want to increase our immunity time, then we are gonna use this. But this is not our engage tool. With this build we are using Swarm of Bats to engage with this build, and we of course need the Solemn Snare to get that immunity with the Swarm of Bats. Now we also use Oversight with the bats to get 15% heal from all the damage we do. This is really not necessary. You can use the poison one in here if you decide to do so, because the heals are not that huge of a deal. We just want the immunity for this one. But we are going in with the bats. We do get the 50% movement speed when we pop this, and some damage. The damage is not huge, but you cannot be targeted, you cannot be CC'd when we go in with this. Now we pair this with the Siphon Blood, and we are using Horns of the Hex with it, so we don't have to channel it anymore. We just pop it and it comes around with us and drain the life from the nearby enemies. So you will still get some lifesteal with this, but again the lifesteal is not that huge. It helps, but it's not the main thing with this build. Now also note that if you use this on PvP like you should, you do get 2 times the heals than you would normally get, so it's 30% from your damage. We are also using Broken Corkscrew with it, so when you ship on and hit enemies 3 times, you will deal extra damage, so we get a bit more damage done with this. And we are also using Reverend Hunter, because now we can get movement speed when we are absorbing the enemy's life, and we are still slowing them down. So enemies will get 30% slow effect, and we get 10% movement speed up to 30%. So this makes it even harder for enemies to get away, and it's easier for us to chase them if they try to run away. Now we are also using Wave of Blood because we kind of want to get some CCs. You could argue to use Road of Night if you want to play just around with your immunities and actually never have the chance to die, but I think that build will be a bit more boring that way, and we get a bit more kills with the Wave of Blood. So we do have Wave of Blood over here. We do use 2 essences with it. First one is Warmth and Likability, just to get 1 extra charge for it, because this is our only CC skill, so now we have 3 CCs in the build, which makes everything a bit easier. Now we also use Pinch Point to get that area wave out of the Wave of Blood and knock everybody around us. This is really great because we are already doing AoE damage anyways, so we want to be as close as possible to the enemies when we pop this. And you do usually pop this after the bats. If you go in with the Siphon and then you use bats, and if there are no enemies around that could not be CC'd with the Wave of Blood, then you use the Wave of Blood. And of course, you use 1 auto attack, then Wave of Blood, 1 auto attack, then Wave of Blood, And now they can not be CC'd anymore. You got some kills or you did not get any kills. It doesn't matter. At this point you need to use Sanguinite and get away from there. And now you need to wait for 4 to 5 seconds to pop Siphoning and Bats again, and then you can go back in again. Of course you will not get the 3 charges of the Blood Waves back, but you still can CC one more time and you do get all the damage you need, and you will get the Sanguinite back. So you just basically go in and out with this build. Now, because the damage is quite low with this build, we will be using Grace of the Flagellant, because our continual damage and channeled and persistent ground damage will be increased by 15%. This means our Siphoning Blood will give us 15% more damage, and the bats will also do 15% more damage. Now we use 4 piece because if we hit 5 times we will do another additional damage, and because we have bats and Siphoning on, this should proc every 2 seconds. So this will increase our damage output, because this is the one we are lacking with it. We don't really need tankiness, like we could use mountebanks, but because we are running around with our immunities, we cannot get damage anyways. And if you do, then you did misplay with this build, because you do have the chance to be immune or CC everybody around you if you have the chance, and if you don't have the chance, then well, you just go get away and try again. And last but not least, we are of course using Vitu's Urge, because we do have the Sanguinite, Siphoning, and we do have the Bats. And 2 pieces of Vitu's Urge will increase all of those duration by 30%. So there is no reason to not use this one with this build. This is the best thing you can have with this build, along of course with the damage increase from the Graces of Flagellant, which increases Graces of Flagellant damage even more because you have 30% longer uptime. And this is the wall build, and I will leave you the rest of the gameplay if you want to watch that, and I will catch you on the next ones.